Germany, officially the Federal Republic of Germany, is a country in the western region of Central Europe. It is the second most populous country in Europe after Russia, and the most populous member state of the European Union. Germany lies between the Baltic and North Sea to the north and the Alps to the south. Its 16 constituent states have a total population of over 84 million, covering a combined area of 357,600 square kilometers and sharing land borders with Denmark to the north, Poland and the Czech Republic to the east, Austria and Switzerland to the south, and France, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands to the west. The nation's capital and most populous city is Berlin, and its main financial center is Frankfurt. The largest urban area is the Ruhr. Settlement in what is now Germany began in the Lower Paleolithic, with various tribes inhabiting it from the Neolithic onward, chiefly the Celts. Various Germanic tribes have inhabited the northern parts of modern Germany since classical antiquity. In 962, the Kingdom of Germany formed the bulk of the Holy Roman Empire. During the 16th century, northern German regions became the center of the Protestant Reformation. Following the Napoleonic Wars and the dissolution of the Holy Roman Empire in 1806, the German Confederation was formed in 1815. Formal unification of Germany into the modern nation-state commenced on August 18, 1866 with the North German Confederation Treaty establishing the Prussia-led North German Confederation, later transformed in 1871 into the German Empire. After World War I and the German Revolution of 1918 to 1919, the empire was in turn transformed into the semi-presidential Weimar Republic. The Nazi seizure of power in 1933 led to the establishment of a totalitarian dictatorship, World War II, and the Holocaust. After the end of World War II in Europe and a period of Allied occupation, in 1949, Germany as a whole was organized into two separate polities with limited sovereignty: the Federal Republic of Germany, generally known as West Germany, and the German Democratic Republic, known as East Germany, while Berlin continued its de jure four-power status. The Federal Republic of Germany was a founding member of the European Economic Community and the European Union, while the German Democratic Republic was a communist Eastern Bloc state and member of the Warsaw Pact. After the fall of the communist-led government in East Germany, German reunification saw the former East German states join the Federal Republic of Germany on October 3, 1990. Germany has been described as a great power with a strong economy. It has the largest economy in Europe. As a global power in industrial, scientific, and technological sectors, it is both the world's third largest exporter and importer. As a developed country, it offers social security, a universal health care system, and tuition-free university education. Germany is a member of the United Nations, European Union, NATO, Council of Europe, G7, G20, and OECD. It has the third greatest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. History. Prehistory. Pre-human ancestors, the Danuvius Mosi, who were present in Germany over 11 million years ago, are theorized to be among the earliest ones to walk on two legs. Ancient humans were present in Germany at least 600,000 years ago. The first non-modern human fossil was discovered in the Neander Valley. Similarly dated evidence of modern humans has been found in the Swabian Jura, including 42,000-year-old flutes, which are the oldest musical instruments ever found, the 40,000-year-old lion man, and the 35,000-year-old Venus of Hodel Fels. The Nibur sky disk, created during the European Bronze Age, has been attributed to a German site. Germanic tribes, Roman frontier, and the Frankish Empire. The Germanic peoples are thought to date from the Nordic Bronze Age, early Iron Age, or the Jasturf culture. From southern Scandinavia and northern Germany, they expanded south, east, and west, coming into contact with the Celtic, Iranian, Baltic, and Slavic tribes. Under Augustus, the Roman Empire began to invade lands inhabited by the Germanic tribes, creating a short-lived Roman province of Germania between the Rhine and Elbe rivers. In 9 AD, 3 Roman legions were defeated by Arminius in the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest. The outcome of this battle dissuaded the Romans from their ambition of conquering Germania, and is thus considered one of the most important events in European history. By 100 AD, when Tacitus wrote Germania, Germanic tribes had settled along the Rhine and the Danube, occupying most of modern Germany. However, Baden-Württemberg, southern Bavaria, southern Hesse and the western Rhineland had been incorporated into Roman provinces. Around 260, Germanic peoples broke into Roman-controlled lands. After the invasion of the Huns in 375, and with the decline of Rome from 395, Germanic tribes moved farther southwest. The Franks established the Frankish kingdom and pushed east to subjugate Saxony and Bavaria, and areas of what is today eastern Germany were inhabited by Western Slavic tribes. East Francia and the Holy Roman Empire. Charlemagne founded the Carolingian Empire in 800, it was divided in 843. The eastern successor kingdom of East Francia stretched from the Rhine in the west to the Elbe River in the east and from the North Sea to the Alps. Subsequently, the Holy Roman Empire emerged from it. The Ottonian rulers consolidated several major duchies. In 996, Gregory V became the first German pope, appointed by his cousin Otto III, whom he shortly after crowned Holy Roman Emperor. The Holy Roman Empire absorbed northern Italy and Burgundy under the Salian emperors, although the emperors lost power through the investiture controversy. Under the Hohenstaufen emperors, German princes encouraged German settlement to the south and east. Members of the Hanseatic League, mostly North German towns, prospered in the expansion of trade. The population declined starting with the Great Famine in 1315, followed by the Black Death in 1348. The Golden Bull issued in 1356 provided the constitutional structure of the empire and codified the election of the emperor by 7 prince-electors. Johannes Gutenberg introduced movable type printing to Europe, laying the basis for the democratization of knowledge. In 1517, Martin Luther incited the Protestant Reformation and his translation of the Bible began the standardization of the language. The 1555 Peace of Augsburg tolerated the evangelical faith, but also decreed that the faith of the prince was to be the faith of his subjects. From the Cologne War through the 30 Years' Wars, religious conflict devastated German lands and significantly reduced the population. The Peace of Westphalia ended religious warfare among the imperial estates. Their mostly German-speaking rulers were able to choose Catholicism, Lutheranism, or Calvinism as their official religion. The legal system initiated by a series of imperial reforms in 1555 provided for considerable local autonomy and a stronger imperial diet. The House of Habsburg held the imperial crown from 1438 until the death of Charles VI in 1740. Following the War of the Austrian Succession and the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, Charles VI's daughter Maria Theresa ruled as Empress Consort when her husband, Francis I, became emperor. From 1740, dualism between the Austrian Habsburg monarchy and the Kingdom of Prussia dominated German history. In 1772, 1793, and 1795, Prussia and Austria, along with the Russian Empire, agreed to the partitions of Poland. During the period of the French Revolutionary Wars, the Napoleonic era and the subsequent final meeting of the Imperial Diet, most of the free imperial cities were annexed by dynastic territories, the ecclesiastical territories were secularized and annexed. In 1806 the Imperium was dissolved. France, Russia, Prussia, and the Habsburgs competed for hegemony in the German states during the Napoleonic Wars. German Confederation and Empire. Following the fall of Napoleon, the Congress of Vienna founded the German Confederation, a loose league of 39 sovereign states. The appointment of the Emperor of Austria as the permanent president reflected the Congress's rejection of Prussia's rising influence. Disagreement within Restoration politics partly led to the rise of liberal movements, followed by new measures of repression by Austrian statesman Clemens von Metternich. The Zollverein, a tariff union, furthered economic unity. In light of revolutionary movements in Europe, intellectuals and commoners started the revolutions of 1848 in the German states, raising the German question. King Frederick William IV of Prussia was offered the title of emperor, but with the loss of power, he rejected the crown and the proposed constitution, a temporary setback for the movement. King William I appointed Otto von Bismarck as the minister-president of Prussia in 1862. Bismarck successfully concluded the war with Denmark in 1864, the subsequent decisive Prussian victory in the Austro-Prussian War of 1866 enabled him to create the North German Confederation which excluded Austria. After the defeat of France in the Franco-Prussian War, the German princes proclaimed the founding of the German Empire in 1871. Prussia was the dominant constituent state of the new empire, the King of Prussia ruled as its Kaiser, and Berlin became its capital. In the Grunderzeit period following the unification of Germany, Bismarck's foreign policy as Chancellor of Germany secured Germany's position as a great nation by forging alliances and avoiding war. However, under Wilhelm II, Germany took an imperialistic course, leading to friction with neighboring countries. A dual alliance was created with the multinational realm of Austria-Hungary. The Triple Alliance of 1882 included Italy, Britain, France, and Russia also concluded alliances to protect against Habsburg interference with Russian interests in the Balkans or German interference against France. At the Berlin Conference in 1884, Germany claimed several colonies including German East Africa, German Southwest Africa, Togoland, and Cameroon. Later, Germany further expanded its colonial empire to include holdings in the Pacific and China. The colonial government in Southwest Africa, from 1904 to 1907, carried out the annihilation of the local Herero and Namaqua peoples as punishment for an uprising. This was the 20th century's first genocide. The assassination of Austria's crown prince on June 28, 1914 provided the pretext for Austria-Hungary to attack Serbia and trigger World War I. After 4 years of warfare, in which approximately 2 million German soldiers were killed, a general armistice ended the fighting. In the German Revolution in 1918, Wilhelm II and the ruling princes abdicated their positions, and Germany was declared a federal republic. Germany's new leadership signed the Treaty of Versailles in 1919, accepting defeat by the Allies. Germans perceived the treaty as humiliating, which was seen by historians as influential in the rise of Adolf Hitler. Germany lost around 13% of its European territory and ceded all of its colonial possessions in Africa and the Pacific. Weimar Republic and Nazi Germany. On August 11, 1919, President Friedrich Ebert signed the democratic Weimar Constitution. In the subsequent struggle for power, communists seized power in Bavaria, but conservative elements elsewhere attempted to overthrow the republic in the Kapp Putsch. Street fighting in the major industrial centers, the occupation of the Ruhr by Belgian and French troops, and a period of hyperinflation followed. A debt restructuring plan and the creation of a new currency in 1924 ushered in the Golden Twenties, an era of artistic innovation and liberal cultural life. The worldwide Great Depression hit Germany in 1929. Chancellor Heinrich Brüning's government pursued a policy of fiscal austerity and deflation which caused unemployment of nearly 30% by 1932. The Nazi Party led by Adolf Hitler became the largest party in the Reichstag after a special election in 1932, and Hindenburg appointed Hitler as Chancellor of Germany on January 30, 1933. After the Reichstag fire, a decree abrogated basic civil rights and the first Nazi concentration camp opened. On March 23, 1933, the Enabling Act gave Hitler unrestricted legislative power, overriding the constitution, and marked the beginning of Nazi Germany. His government established a centralized totalitarian state, withdrew from the League of Nations, and dramatically increased the country's rearmament. A government-sponsored program for economic renewal focused on public works, the most famous of which was the Autobahn. In 1935, the regime withdrew from the Treaty of Versailles and introduced the Nuremberg laws which targeted Jews and other minorities. Germany also reacquired control of the Saarland in 1935, remilitarized the Rhineland in 1936, annexed Austria in 1938, annexed the Sudetenland in 1938 with the Munich Agreement, and in violation of the agreement occupied Czechoslovakia in March 1939. Kristallnacht saw the burning of synagogues, the destruction of Jewish businesses, and mass arrests of Jewish people. In August 1939, Hitler's government negotiated the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact that divided Eastern Europe into German and Soviet spheres of influence. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, beginning World War II in Europe. Britain and France declared war on Germany on September 3. In the spring of 1940, Germany conquered Denmark and Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, and France, forcing the French government to sign an armistice. The British repelled German air attacks in the Battle of Britain in the same year. In 1941, German troops invaded Yugoslavia, Greece, and the Soviet Union. By 1942, Germany and its allies controlled most of continental Europe and North Africa, but following the Soviet victory at the Battle of Stalingrad, the Allied reconquest of North Africa and invasion of Italy in 1943, German forces suffered repeated military defeats. In 1944, the Soviets pushed into Eastern Europe, the Western Allies landed in France and entered Germany despite a final German counteroffensive. Following Hitler's suicide during the Battle of Berlin, Germany signed the surrender document on May 8, 1945, ending World War II in Europe and Nazi Germany. Following the end of the war, surviving Nazi officials were tried for war crimes at the Nuremberg trials. In what later became known as the Holocaust, the German government persecuted minorities, including interning them in concentration and death camps across Europe. The regime systematically murdered 6 million Jews, at least 130,000 Romani, 275,000 disabled, thousands of Jehovah's Witnesses, thousands of homosexuals, and hundreds of thousands of political and religious opponents. Nazi policies in German-occupied countries resulted in the deaths of an estimated 2.7 million Poles, 1.3 million Ukrainians, 1 million Belarusians and 3.5 million Soviet prisoners of war. German military casualties have been estimated at 5.3 million, and around 900,000 German civilians died. Around 12 million ethnic Germans were expelled from across Eastern Europe, and Germany lost roughly 1/4 of its pre-war territory. East and West Germany. After Nazi Germany surrendered, the Allies de jure abolished the German state and partitioned Berlin and Germany's remaining territory into 4 occupation zones. The western sectors, controlled by France, the United Kingdom, and the United States, were merged on May 23, 1949 to form the Federal Republic of Germany. On October 7, 1949, the Soviet zone became the German Democratic Republic. They were informally known as West Germany and East Germany. East Germany selected East Berlin as its capital, while West Germany chose Bonn as a provisional capital, to emphasize its stance that the two-state solution was temporary. West Germany was established as a federal parliamentary republic with a social market economy. Starting in 1948, West Germany became a major recipient of reconstruction aid under the American Marshall Plan. Konrad Adenauer was elected the first federal chancellor of Germany in 1949. The country enjoyed prolonged economic growth beginning in the early 1950s. West Germany joined NATO in 1955 and was a founding member of the European Economic Community. On January 1, 1957, the Saarland joined West Germany. East Germany was an Eastern Bloc state under political and military control by the Soviet Union via occupation forces and the Warsaw Pact. Although East Germany claimed to be a democracy, political power was exercised solely by leading members of the communist-controlled Socialist Unity Party of Germany, supported by the Stasi, an immense secret service. While East German propaganda was based on the benefits of the GDR's social programs and the alleged threat of a West German invasion, many of its citizens looked to the West for freedom and prosperity. The Berlin Wall, built in 1961, prevented East German citizens from escaping to West Germany, becoming a symbol of the Cold War. Tensions between East and West Germany were reduced in the late 1960s by Chancellor Willy Brandt's Ostpolitik. In 1989, Hungary decided to dismantle the Iron Curtain and open its border with Austria, causing the emigration of thousands of East Germans to West Germany via Hungary and Austria. This had devastating effects on the GDR, where regular mass demonstrations received increasing support. In an effort to help retain East Germany as a state, the East German authorities eased border restrictions, but this actually led to an acceleration of the Wende reform process, culminating in the 2+4 treaty under which Germany regained full sovereignty. This permitted German reunification on October 3, 1990, with the accession of the 5 re-established states of the former GDR. The fall of the wall in 1989 became a symbol of the fall of communism, the dissolution of the Soviet Union, German reunification, and Die Wende. Reunified Germany and the European Union. Germany was considered the enlarged continuation of West Germany, so it retained its memberships in international organizations. Based on the Berlin-Bonn Act, Berlin again became the capital of Germany, while Bonn obtained the unique status of a Bundesstaat retaining some federal ministries. The relocation of the government was completed in 1999, and modernization of the East German economy was scheduled to last until 2019. Since reunification, Germany has taken a more active role in the European Union, signing the Maastricht Treaty in 1992 and the Lisbon Treaty in 2007, and co-founding the Eurozone. Germany sent a peacekeeping force to secure stability in the Balkans and sent German troops to Afghanistan as part of a NATO effort to provide security in that country after the ousting of the Taliban. In the 2005 elections, Angela Merkel became the first female chancellor. In 2009, the German government approved a €50 billion stimulus plan. Among the major German political projects of the early 21st century are the advancement of European integration, the energy transition for a sustainable energy supply, the debt brake for balanced budgets, measures to increase the fertility rate, and high-tech strategies for the transition of the German economy, summarized as Industry 4.0. During the 2015 European migrant crisis, the country took in over 1 million refugees and migrants. Politics. Germany is a federal, parliamentary, representative democratic republic. Federal legislative power is vested in the parliament consisting of the Bundestag and Bundesrat, which together form the legislative body. The Bundestag is elected through direct elections using the mixed-member proportional representation system. The members of the Bundesrat represent and are appointed by the governments of the 16 federated states. The German political system operates under a framework laid out in the 1949 constitution known as the Grundgesetz. Amendments generally require a two-thirds majority of both the Bundestag and the Bundesrat. The fundamental principles of the Constitution, as expressed in the articles guaranteeing human dignity, the separation of powers, the federal structure, and the rule of law, are valid in perpetuity. The President, currently Frank-Walter Steinmeier, is the head of state and invested primarily with representative responsibilities and powers. He is elected by the Bundesversammlung, an institution consisting of the members of the Bundestag and an equal number of state delegates. The second highest official in the German order of precedence is the Bundestagspräsident, who is elected by the Bundestag and responsible for overseeing the daily sessions of the body. The third highest official and the head of government is the Chancellor, who is appointed by the Bundespräsident after being elected by the party or coalition with the most seats in the Bundestag. The Chancellor, currently Olaf Scholz, is the head of government and exercises executive power through his cabinet. Since 1949, the party system has been dominated by the Christian Democratic Union and the Social Democratic Party of Germany. So far, every chancellor has been a member of one of these parties. However, the smaller Liberal Free Democratic Party and the Alliance 90 the Greens have also been junior partners in coalition governments. Since 2007, the Democratic Socialist Party the Left has been a staple in the German Bundestag, though they have never been part of the federal government. In the 2017 German federal election, the right-wing populist Alternative for Germany gained enough votes to attain representation in the parliament for the first time. Foreign relations. Germany has a network of 227 diplomatic missions abroad and maintains relations with more than 190 countries. Germany is a member of NATO, the OECD, the G7, the G20, the World Bank and the IMF. It has played an influential role in the European Union since its inception and has maintained a strong alliance with France and all neighboring countries since 1990. Germany promotes the creation of a more unified European political, economic, and security apparatus. The governments of Germany and the United States are close political allies. Cultural ties and economic interests have crafted a bond between the two countries, resulting in Atlanticism. After 1990, Germany and Russia worked together to establish a strategic partnership in which energy development became one of the most important factors. As a result of the cooperation, Germany imported most of its natural gas and crude oil from Russia. Germany's development policy functions as a distinct sector within its foreign policy framework. It is formulated by the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development and carried out by the implementing organizations. The German government sees development policy as a joint responsibility of the international community. It was the world's second biggest aid donor in 2019 after the United States. Military. Germany's military, federal defense, is organized into the Heer, Marine, Air Force, Joint Medical Service, Joint Support Service and Cyber and Information Domain Service branches. In absolute terms, German military expenditure is the 8th highest in the world. In 2018, military spending was at 49.5 billion, about 1.2% of the country's GDP, well below the NATO target of 2%. However, in response to the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced that German military expenditure would be increased past the NATO target of 2%, along with a one-time 2022 infusion of €100 billion, representing almost double the €53 billion military budget for 2021. As of January 2020, the Bundeswehr has a strength of 184,001 active soldiers and 80,947 civilians. Reservists are available to the armed forces and participate in defense exercises and deployments abroad. Until 2011, military service was compulsory for men at age 18, but this has been officially suspended and replaced with a voluntary service. Since 2001, women may serve in all functions of service without restriction. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, Germany was the fourth largest exporter of major arms in the world from 2014 to 2018. In peacetime, the Bundeswehr is commanded by the Minister of Defense. In state of defense, the Chancellor would become Commander-in-Chief of the Bundeswehr. The role of the Bundeswehr is described in the Constitution of Germany as defensive only. But after a ruling of the Federal Constitutional Court in 1994, the term defense has been defined not only to include protection of the borders of Germany, but also crisis reaction and conflict prevention, or more broadly as guarding the security of Germany anywhere in the world. As of 2017, the German military has about 3,600 troops stationed in foreign countries as part of international peacekeeping forces, including about 1,200 supporting operations against Daesh, 980 in the NATO-led Resolute Support Mission in Afghanistan, and 800 in Kosovo. Economy. Germany has a social market economy with a highly skilled labor force, a low level of corruption, and a high level of innovation. It is the world's third largest exporter and third largest importer, and has the largest economy in Europe, the world's third largest economy by nominal GDP and the fifth largest by PPP. Its GDP per capita measured in purchasing power standards amounts to 121% of the EU 27 average. The service sector contributes approximately 69% of the total GDP, industry 31%, with Germany having the largest manufacturing sector in Europe, and agriculture 1% as of 2017. The unemployment rate published by Eurostat amounts to 3.2% as of January 2020, which is the fourth lowest in the EU. Germany is part of the European single market, which represents more than 450 million consumers. In 2017, the country accounted for 28% of the Eurozone economy according to the International Monetary Fund. Germany introduced the common European currency, the euro, in 2002. Its monetary policy is set by the European Central Bank, which is headquartered in Frankfurt. The automotive industry in Germany is regarded as one of the most competitive and innovative in the world, and is the sixth largest by production as of 2021. Germany is home to Volkswagen Group, the world's second largest automotive manufacturer in 2022 by vehicle production, and is the third largest exporter of cars as of 2023. The top 10 exports of Germany are vehicles, machinery, chemical goods, electronic products, electrical equipment, pharmaceuticals, transport equipment, basic metals, food products, and rubber and plastics. Of the world's 500 largest stock market listed companies measured by revenue in 2023, the Fortune Global 500, 32 are headquartered in Germany. 30 major Germany-based companies are included in the DAX, the German stock market index, which is operated by Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Well-known international brands include Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Opel, Siemens, Allianz, Adidas, Puma, Hugo Boss, Bosch, and Deutsche Telekom. Berlin is a hub for start-up companies and has become the leading location for venture capital-funded firms in the European Union. Germany is recognized for its large portion of specialized small and medium enterprises, known as the Mittelstand model. These companies represent 48% of the global market leaders in their segments, labeled hidden champions. Research and development efforts form an integral part of the German economy, with the country ranking fourth in research and development expenditure since 2005. In 2018, Germany ranked fourth globally in terms of number of science and engineering research papers published. Research institutions in Germany include the Max Planck Society, the Helmholtz Association, and the Fraunhofer Society and the Leibniz Association. Germany is the largest contributor to the European Space Agency. Germany was ranked 8th in the Global Innovation Index in 2023. Infrastructure. With its central position in Europe, Germany is a transport hub for the continent. Its road network is among the densest in Europe. The motorway is widely known for having no general federally mandated speed limit for some classes of vehicles. The Intercity Express or ICE train network serves major German cities as well as destinations in neighboring countries with speeds up to 300 km/h. The largest German airports are Frankfurt Airport, Munich Airport, and Berlin-Brandenburg Airport. The Port of Hamburg is one of the 20 largest container ports in the world. In 2019, Germany was the world's 7th largest consumer of energy. All nuclear power plants were phased out in 2023. It meets the country's power demands using 40% renewable sources, and it has been called an early leader in solar and offshore wind. Germany is committed to the Paris Agreement and several other treaties promoting biodiversity, low emission standards, and water management. The country's household recycling rate is among the highest in the world at around 65%. The country's greenhouse gas emissions per capita were the 9th highest in the EU in 2018, but these numbers have been trending downward. The German energy transition is the recognized move to a sustainable economy by means of energy efficiency and renewable energy. Germany has reduced its primary energy consumption by 11% between 1990 and 2015 and set itself goals of reducing it by 30% by 2030 and by 50% by 2050. Tourism. Domestic and international travel and tourism combined directly contribute over €105.3 billion to German GDP. Including indirect and induced impacts, the industry supports 4.2 million jobs. As of 2022, Germany is the 8th most visited country. Its most popular landmarks include Cologne Cathedral, the Brandenburg Gate, the Reichstag, the Dresden Frauenkirche, Neuschwanstein Castle, Heidelberg Castle, the Wartburg, and Sanssouci Palace. The Europa Park near Freiburg is Europe's second most popular theme park resort. Demographics. With a population of 80.2 million according to the 2011 German census, rising to 83.7 million as of 2022, Germany is the most populous country in the European Union, the second most populous country in Europe after Russia, and the 19th most populous country in the world. Its population density stands at 227 inhabitants per square kilometer. The fertility rate of 1.57 children born per woman is below the replacement rate of 2.1 and is one of the lowest fertility rates in the world. Since the 1970s, Germany's death rate has exceeded its birth rate. However, Germany is witnessing increased birth rates and migration rates since the beginning of the 2010s. Germany has the third oldest population in the world, with an average age of 47.4 years. Four sizable groups of people are referred to as national minorities because their ancestors have lived in their respective regions for centuries. There is a Danish minority in the northernmost state of Schleswig-Holstein. The Sorbs, a Slavic population, are in the Lusatia region of Saxony and Brandenburg. The Roma and Sinti live throughout the country, and the Frisians are concentrated in Schleswig-Holstein's western coast and in the northwestern part of Lower Saxony. After the United States, Germany is the second most popular immigration destination in the world. In 2015, following the 2015 refugee crisis, the Population Division of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs listed Germany as host to the second highest number of international migrants worldwide, about 5% or 12 million of all 244 million migrants. Refugee crises have resulted in substantial population increases. For example, the major influx of Ukrainian immigrants following the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, meaning over 1.06 million refugees from Ukraine were recorded in Germany as of April 2023. As of 2019, Germany ranks 7th among EU countries in terms of the percentage of migrants in the country's population, at 13%. In 2022, there were 23.8 million people, 28.7% of the total population, who had a migration background. Germany has a number of large cities. There are 11 officially recognized metropolitan regions. The country's largest city is Berlin, while its largest urban area is the Ruhr. Religion. According to the 2011 census, Christianity was the largest religion in Germany, with 67% of respondents identifying as Christian, of which 2% were not church members. 31% declared themselves as Protestants, including members of the Protestant Church in Germany, which encompasses Lutheran, Reformed, and administrative or confessional unions of both traditions and the free churches. 31% declared themselves as Roman Catholics, and Orthodox believers constituted 2%. According to data from 2016, the Catholic Church and the Evangelical Church claim 28% and 27%, respectively, of the population. Islam is the second largest religion in the country. In the 2011 census, 2% of respondents gave their religion as Islam, but this figure is deemed unreliable because a disproportionate number of adherents of this faith are likely to have made use of their right not to answer the question. Most of the Muslims are Sunnis and Alawites from Turkey, but there are a small number of Shiites, Ahmadiyyas, and other denominations. Other religions comprise less than 1% of Germany's population. In 2011, formal members of the Jewish community represented no more than 0.2% of the total German population, and 60% of them resided in Berlin. An estimated 80 to 90% of these Jews in Germany are Russian-speaking immigrants from the former Soviet Union, who came to Germany from the 1980s onwards. A study in 2018 estimated that 38% of the population are not members of any religious organization or denomination, though up to a third may still consider themselves religious. Irreligion in Germany is strongest in the former East Germany, which used to be predominantly Protestant before the enforcement of state atheism, and in major metropolitan areas. Languages. German is the official and predominantly spoken language in Germany. It is one of 24 official and working languages of the European Union, and one of the 3 procedural languages of the European Commission. German is the most widely spoken first language in the European Union, with around 100 million native speakers. Recognized native minority languages in Germany are Danish, Low German, Low Rhenish, Sorbian, Romani, North Frisian and Saterland Frisian. They are officially protected by the European Charter for Regional or Minority Languages. The most used immigrant languages are Turkish, Arabic, Kurdish, Polish, Italian, Greek, Spanish, Serbo-Croatian, Bulgarian, and other Balkan languages, as well as Russian. Germans are typically multilingual. 67% of German citizens claim to be able to communicate in at least one foreign language and 27% in at least two. Education. Responsibility for educational supervision in Germany is primarily organized within the individual states. Optional kindergarten education is provided for all children between 3 and 6 years old, after which school attendance is compulsory for at least 9 years depending on the state. Primary education usually lasts for 4 to 6 years. Secondary schooling is divided into tracks based on whether students pursue academic or vocational education. A system of apprenticeship called Dual Ausbildung leads to a skilled qualification which is almost comparable to an academic degree. It allows students in vocational training to learn in a company as well as in a state-run trade school. This model is well regarded and reproduced all around the world. Most of the German universities are public institutions, and students traditionally study without fee payment. The general requirement for attending university is the Abitur. According to an OECD report in 2014, Germany is the world's third leading destination for international study. The established universities in Germany include some of the oldest in the world, with Heidelberg University, Leipzig University, and the University of Rostock being the oldest. The Humboldt University of Berlin, founded in 1810 by the liberal educational reformer Wilhelm von Humboldt, became the academic model for many Western universities. In the contemporary era, Germany has developed 11 universities of excellence. Health. Germany's system of hospitals, called Krankenhäuser, dates from medieval times, and today, Germany has the world's oldest universal healthcare system, dating from Bismarck's social legislation of the 1880s. Since the 1880s, reforms and provisions have ensured a balanced healthcare system. The population is covered by a health insurance plan provided by statute, with criteria allowing some groups to opt for a private health insurance contract. According to the World Health Organization, Germany's healthcare system was 77% government funded and 23% privately funded as of 2013. In 2014, Germany spent 11% of its GDP on healthcare. Germany ranked 21st in the world in 2019 in life expectancy with 78.7 years for men and 84.8 years for women according to the WHO, and it had a very low infant mortality rate. In 2019, the principal cause of death was cardiovascular disease, at 37%. Obesity in Germany has been increasingly cited as a major health issue. A 2014 study showed that 52% of the adult German population was overweight or obese. Culture. Culture in German states has been shaped by major intellectual and popular currents in Europe, both religious and secular, and its scientists, writers, and philosophers have played a significant role in the development of Western thought. A global opinion poll for the BBC revealed that Germany is recognized for having the most positive influence in the world in 2013 and 2014. Germany is well known for such folk festival traditions as the Oktoberfest and Christmas customs, which include Advent wreaths, Christmas pageants, Christmas trees, stolen cakes, and other practices. As of 2023, UNESCO inscribed 52 properties in Germany on the World Heritage List. There are a number of public holidays in Germany determined by each state. October 3rd has been a national day of Germany since 1990, celebrated as the German Unity Day. Music. German classical music includes works by some of the world's most well-known composers. Dietrich Buxtehude, Johann Sebastian Bach and Georg Friedrich Handel were influential composers of the Baroque period. Ludwig van Beethoven was a crucial figure in the transition between the classical and Romantic eras. Carl Maria von Weber, Felix Mendelssohn, Robert Schumann, and Johannes Brahms were significant Romantic composers. Richard Wagner was known for his operas. Richard Strauss was a leading composer of the late Romantic and early modern eras. Karl-Heinz Stockhausen and Wolfgang Rimm are important composers of the 20th and early 21st centuries. As of 2013, Germany was the second largest music market in Europe, and fourth largest in the world. German popular music of the 20th and 21st centuries includes the movements of Neue Deutsche Welle, pop, Ostrock, heavy metal rock, punk, pop rock, indie, folk music, Schlager pop and German hip-hop. German electronic music gained global influence, with Kraftwerk and Tangerine Dream pioneering in this genre. DJs and artists of the techno and house music scenes of Germany have become well known. Literature and philosophy. German literature can be traced back to the Middle Ages and the works of writers such as Walther von der Vogelweide and Wolfram von Eschenbach. Well-known German authors include Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Friedrich Schiller, Gotthold Ephraim Lessing and Theodor Fontane. The collections of folk tales published by the Brothers Grimm popularized German folklore on an international level. The Grimms also gathered and codified regional variants of the German language, grounding their work in historical principles. Their Deutsches Wörterbuch, or German dictionary, sometimes called the Grimm Dictionary, was begun in 1838 and the first volumes published in 1854. Influential authors of the 20th century include Gerhard Hauptmann, Thomas Mann, Hermann Hesse, Heinrich Boll, and Günter Grass. The German book market is the third largest in the world, after the United States and China. The Frankfurt Book Fair is the most important in the world for international deals and trading, with a tradition spanning over 500 years. The Leipzig Book Fair also retains a major position in Europe. German philosophy is historically significant. Gottfried Leibniz's contributions to rationalism, the Enlightenment philosophy by Immanuel Kant, the establishment of classical German idealism by Johann Gottlieb Fichte, Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel and Friedrich Wilhelm Joseph Schelling, Arthur Schopenhauer's composition of metaphysical pessimism, the formulation of communist theory by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, Friedrich Nietzsche's development of perspectivism, Gottlob Frey's contributions to the dawn of analytic philosophy, Martin Heidegger's works on being, Oswald Spengler's historical philosophy, and the development of the Frankfurt School have all been very influential. Media. The largest internationally operating media companies in Germany are the Bertelsmann Enterprise, Axel Springer SE and ProSiebenSat.1 Media. Germany's television market is the largest in Europe, with some 38 million TV households. Around 90% of German households have cable or satellite TV, with a variety of free-to-view public and commercial channels. There are more than 300 public and private radio stations in Germany. Germany's national radio network is the Deutschland Radio, and the public Deutsche Welle is the main German radio and television broadcaster in foreign languages. Germany's print market of newspapers and magazines is the largest in Europe. The papers with the highest circulation are Bild, Süddeutsche Zeitung, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung and Die Welt. The largest magazines include ADAC Motorwelt and Der Spiegel. Germany has a large video gaming market, with over 34 million players nationwide. The Gamescom is the world's largest gaming convention. German cinema has made major technical and artistic contributions to film. The first works of the Skladnowski brothers were shown to an audience in 1895. The renowned Babelsberg studio in Potsdam was established in 1912, thus being the first large-scale film studio in the world. Early German cinema was particularly influential with German expressionists such as Robert Wiene and Friedrich Wilhelm Murnau. Director Fritz Lang's Metropolis is referred to as the first major science fiction film. After 1945, many of the films of the immediate post-war period can be characterized as rubble film. East German film was dominated by state-owned film studio DEFA, while the dominant genre in West Germany was the homeland film. During the 1970s and 1980s, new German cinema directors such as Volker Schlöndorff, Werner Herzog, Wim Wenders, and Rainer Werner Fassbinder brought West German auteur cinema to critical acclaim. The Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film went to the German production The Tin Drum in 1979, to Nowhere in Africa in 2002, and To the Lives of Others in 2007. Various Germans won an Oscar for their performances in other films. The annual European Film Awards ceremony is held every other year in Berlin, home of the European Film Academy. The Berlin International Film Festival, known as Berlinale, awarding the Golden Bear and held annually since 1951, is one of the world's leading film festivals. The Lolas are annually awarded in Berlin, at the German Film Awards. Sports. Football is the most popular sport in Germany. With more than 7 million official members, the German Football Association is the largest single sport organization worldwide, and the German top league, the Bundesliga, attracts the second highest average attendance of all professional sports leagues in the world. The German men's national football team won the FIFA World Cup in 1954, 1974, 1990, and 2014, the UEFA European Championship in 1972, 1980, and 1996, and the FIFA Confederations Cup in 2017. Germany is one of the leading motor sports countries in the world. Constructors like BMW and Mercedes are prominent manufacturers in motorsport. Porsche has won the 24 Hours of Le Mans race 19 times, and Audi 13 times. The driver Michael Schumacher has set many motorsport records during his career, having won 7 Formula One World Drivers' Championships. Sebastian Vettel is also among the most successful Formula One drivers of all time. German athletes historically have been successful contenders in the Olympic Games, ranking third in an all-time Olympic Games medal count when combining East and West German medals prior to German reunification. In 1936 Berlin hosted the Summer Games and the Winter Games in Garmisch-Partenkirchen.